Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the Season 7 premiere of AMC's The Walking Dead, which was titled The Day Will Come When He Won't Be, which is a nice tie back to what Jenner replied to Rick when he said he was grateful back at the end of Season 1 of the CDC. Holy shit. I'm still my voice is still a little bit shaky, so I apologize about that. But this is a hard episode to go over, just because of what went on and stuff like that, or what happened and what's going on, I guess. But overall, really a damn good episode, man. Of course, who did Negan kill? And, they took a little bit of time showing us, they showed us that sort of sneak peek we got a while ago with, Rick being taken into the RV by Negan that opened it. We've seen Walking Dead do stuff like that before, showing something, then showing what actually happened a little bit later. But they didn't really have us wait too long, I sort of liked how they showed it, or how they revealed it, with, Negan taking Rick off, to have a little bit of a one-on-one, and they had different characters flashing through Rick's mind and stuff until we finally seen the full kill and the full moment where it actually went down. So I did like how they did that. Got my Walking Dead shirt on, Rick and Daryl back in season 3 at the prison. God, that was a long time ago now. It was really good. Of course, the kills, Abraham and Glenn were killed. I'll just say it. There's a big spoiler warning in the title, so, can't really bitch to me about that. Abraham and Glenn were the ones who got Lucille'd. And, those victims are, who most of us thought they would be, let's be honest. It wasn't really surprising that it ended up being Abraham and Glenn. Right when, Last Day on Earth aired, back in, 6 months ago now or so, I thought it would be Abraham, because Abraham, he's like, at least visually the most, or physically the most, threatening of the group. He was like the obvious, likely muscle for the group from Negan's perspective. So I always thought Abraham would be a pretty clear choice from Negan's perspective, make an example out of, the big guy in the group, if you beat him to death and take him down, that'll stick in people's minds. And to see what happened to Abraham, it was hard, because Abraham was a pretty damn likable character, he was, he wasn't quite, up there with some of my favorites, like Rick and Michonne and such, but, he was definitely one of them that was definitely earning his place. Michael Cudlitz always did a good job playing him. He had a very, different personality and such. And I did like that they gave him that last line, suck my nuts, before Negan, bashed him to death. So his death was, definitely hard to see too. He was, despite what went on with Rosita and Sasha, he was still a good guy. And again, a very likable character. So. And then as Negan held Lucille up to Rosita afterwards, seeing how affected she was by it, he put 2 and 2 together that they had a history. And he was just sort of taunting her and rubbing it in her face, really. And, that caused Daryl to actually react, and he actually got up and punched Negan in the face, which was sort of satisfying to see. At least we got someone, landing a hit on him. Of course, people were worried about Daryl, but I really wasn't. I didn't think they were going to do it, except for, the moment of the cliffhanger. I thought maybe, but I never really thought it was going to be Daryl for a while now. But still, for a second, when you're seeing someone, act out like that again, it makes you a little bit concerned for, a second. But Negan uses this as an excuse, sort of, to punish the group more. And that's when he turns around and then hits Glenn, and we get sort of that version of the comic book death. That was something we were expecting. So he did kill, two victims instead of the one in the comic books. And again, that's something a lot of us figured, and I know there's going to be people complaining that, oh yeah, who the hell is surprised by that, but, and yeah, they could have, I think it's unfortunate that a lot of us guessed who it was so long ago, but at the same time, it was still really well done. A couple of death scenes, I think, just the acting that went into it, especially from Rick and Lauren Cohan. Of course, Maggie, just seeing that happen to Glenn is just awful, I sort of had a strong feeling it was going to happen, but even I was still, kind of shaken by actually seeing it go down. And how graphic was it? It was pretty close to the comic, and I still had the eye, gouging out a little bit, or like popping out a little bit, I want to say. Probably wasn't quite on the level of the comic, but it was as close as they probably could have did on AMC, I think. Still pretty brutal, for sure. And just to see that happen to Glenn was just very tragic. He was probably the most genuinely good person on the show, and of course this would happen to him. And why Negan killed Glenn? Because Glenn was sort of pissing him off earlier, with him talking to Maggie and such, back in the season 6 finale. So Negan was probably more willing to let that frustration with him out once Daryl intervened. And of course we have the Negan and Dwight dynamic. It seems like Negan's letting Daryl be sort of like Dwight's thing. It's like it's almost felt like Dwight has to earn the opportunity to kill Daryl himself or something like that. And of course, with Daryl acting out, they take him away, and Negan uses that to threaten Rick that will leave pieces of him at the gate of Alexandria. But yeah, so the kills, fairly predictable. Were still hard to see. It's hard to see those happen to those two characters, especially Glenn. And I also really liked the scenes of Rick and Negan together. Of course, I was watching with my dad, and he just wanted Rick to, take the hatchet and boom, boom. But, realistically, that would have been a really bad decision, because, of course, Negan and the Saviors had him on the ropes there. If Rick or anyone else acted out at all again, chances are they probably would have just, shot them all or just killed them all somehow. So Rick really couldn't do anything. He did sort of go for it a little bit, but Negan, of course, turned around with a gun. And he basically just mentally, fucked with Rick's head for the rest of the episode. Just sort of taking away like any feeling of power Rick ever had, or sort of control. And that was all really twisted and such. And when he took him out in the RV, he went and tossed the hatch or the axe, onto the top of it. With a decent amount of walkers around, Rick had to sort of fight him off and climb to the top and get it for him as he was thinking about everything that just happened. So very twisted, but very great acting from Andrew Lincoln, showing just the guilt and just the defeat all over his face. The whole episode was just really, really well done on his part, acting wise. And it got even further when he made Rick think he was actually going to have to chop Carl's arm off himself. He even drew the line on his arm with a Sharpie where he wanted him to cut it. He wanted a nice clean cut, and he just did that to mentally break Rick, and it was devastating for sure. Of course, he called it off at the last second. He just wanted to push him to the point where he's actually going to do it. So very, very twisted. Ian Michonne spoke out a little bit there, saying they understand. And again, I didn't think Michonne was going to be, killed or anything like that, but still, just to hear someone else speak out again, I was like, no, don't say anything. But yeah, I love Michonne, and Not Guerrero was, great, of course, with her expressions, throughout the episode and such, and her reactions, as was the whole cast, really. I also felt for Rosita, of course, and I still don't really like Sasha that much, to be honest. But I felt for Eugene and the camaraderie him and Abraham had actually developed. But yeah, all very, very, heavy for sure. And, just all Glenn and Maggie's history, just to see all that just, and just mush, literally, it's very unfortunate. And then, of course, we have the group left alone after that. Negan says they'll be back in a week to collect their offering, which basically I'm guessing they have to gather supplies and give so much of their rations or food to them and such. Their medicine, I'm guessing. We'll see Negan next week for sure. And of course, the group didn't want to just leave the bodies there. They are actually able to get them to the RV and take them back for at least proper burial, I guess. That was the very least they could do at that point. Again, really good acting from Lauren Cohan, and she is just losing it, So yeah, that's kind of what happened in tonight's episode. And again, predictable. The victims were who most of us thought they were going to be. Of course, he had some people out there saying it was, having these wild theories, saying it was going to be like Michonne or Daryl or, even Rick or something like that. But I think most of the audience thought it was going to be Abraham and Glenn. But again, I don't think you can bash it too much just because of all the great acting that went into it. I thought it was a very good premiere. Really setting the tone for the season, really setting Negan up as the huge antagonist. Arguably already potentially bigger than the Governor. I don't know. It's going to be hard to top David Morrissey's performance, but JDM, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's great. It's kind of hard for me to go from seeing him on Supernatural as a guy I really love rooting for to Negan as a guy I still kind of like in a weird way, but as a guy I definitely want to die. But I think they definitely did a good job, setting him up as the next big bad. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. I'm giving this episode 9.5 out of 10. Just really well done, despite its predictability. I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the season. I'm really happy Walking Dead's back. It's awesome. And it's definitely reinvigorated my interest in the show again, so I'm very happy with it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the premiere episode of The Walking Dead. I know some of you are probably, going to whine or complain about, the predictability of some of it. But I still don't see how you can say it was bad or anything when it was as well done as it was. I really loved it. Like I said, 9.5 out of 10, easy. So yeah, catch you guys next time. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for my straight interview a little bit later. Peace.